The Sunday school lesson for October 20th, 2024 is Praise for Deliverance, Isaiah chapter 25, verses 1 through 10a. Welcome, viewers and subscribers, to my channel, The Backstory and More. I am Audrey. If you are interested in knowing exactly what happens before each Sunday school lesson, you are at the right place because I will share the backstory, read the lesson text, and offer a brief lesson summary. The backstory takes us to a section of Isaiah that is often called the Isaiah Apocalypse, chapters 24 through 27. This is because the scenes pictured are similar to the apocalyptic language, which is imagery describing the end of the world found in the book of Revelation. Isaiah became a prophet in the year King Uzziah of Judah died around 740 BC. Isaiah chapter 6, verses 1 through 10. By the time Isaiah appeared on the scene, the Israelites had been divided into two countries for almost 200 years: the northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Judah. The prophet had a long ministry of several decades in Judah during the reigns of Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. Isaiah's ministry began during a time of economic and military prosperity. Isaiah chapter 2, verse 7. But spiritual rot had set in, chapter 2, verse 8, and it was only a matter of time before God intervened. God's interventions took the form of oppression by foreign powers. Isaiah chapter 7, verse 20. One such oppression occurred during the reign of Ahaz of Judah, 735 through 716 BC, when Syria, and the northern kingdom of Israel joined forces against Judah. 2 Kings chapter 16 verses 1 through 10. Ahaz saved Judah by means of an unholy alliance with Assyria, 16 and 7 through 9. That country eventually conquered northern Israel and exiled its inhabitants in 722 BC. The city of Jerusalem in Judah barely escaped the same fate in 701 BC, but that was only temporary. Jerusalem's reaction to that time of forthcoming darkness would reveal where the inhabitants' hearts actually lay. Jeremiah chapter 7, verses 1 through 8. Isaiah not only served during difficult times, but he also foresaw them, not only for Judah, but for the idolatrous nations around her, such as Egypt, Edom, and Tyre. But while confrontation about sin was a critical part of the task of the prophets, that was not their only function. The prophets also provided hope. The situation looks utterly hopeless by the time we get to Isaiah chapter 24. That chapter's 23rd verses are dire in their prediction of the devastation of the whole earth. The reason is given in Isaiah chapter 24, verse 5. The earth is defiled by its people. They have disobeyed the laws, violated the statutes, and broken the everlasting covenant. The utter holiness of God that is unmistakable in Isaiah 24 is followed by a message of God's love in Isaiah 25. It bears a message of hope in today's lesson. The backstory ends here, and today's lesson begins with the next slide. Verse 1. Lord, you are my God. I will exalt you and praise your name. For in perfect faithfulness you have done wonderful things, things planned long ago. Verse 2. You have made the city a heap of rubble, the fortified town a ruin, the foreigner's stronghold a city no more. It will never be rebuilt. Verses 3 through 5. Therefore, strong peoples will honor you. Cities of ruthless nations will revere you. You have been a refuge for the poor, a refuge for the needy in their distress, a shelter from the storm, and a shade from the heat. For the breath of the ruthless is like a storm driving against a wall, and like the heat of the desert. You silence the uproar of foreigners. As heat is reduced by the shadow of a cloud, so the song of the ruthless is stilled. Verses 6 through 7. On this mountain, the Lord Almighty will prepare a feast of rich food for all peoples, a banquet of aged wine, the best of meats and the finest of wines. On this mountain, he will destroy the shroud that enfolds all peoples, the sheet that covers all nations. Verse 8. He will swallow up death forever. The sovereign Lord will wipe away the tears from all faces. He will remove his people's disgrace from all the earth. The Lord has spoken. Verses 9 through 10a. In that day they will say, surely this is our God. We trust in him, and he saved us. This is the Lord. We trusted in him. Let us rejoice and be glad in his salvation. The hand of the Lord will rest on this mountain. A brief summary. Isaiah was both a prophet and a psalmist. He followed the prophecy of judgment, chapter 24, verses 14 through 16, and verse 23, with songs of joyful praise. In chapter 25, Isaiah foresees the great feast that God would prepare for all people, his faithful people comprised of both Jews and Gentiles. God will swallow up death in victory and wipe away the tears from all faces. In this context, Moab, verse 10, typifies all the enemies of God and his people. Chapter 25 continues with the theme of judgment and speaks of the Lord's actions in turning cities into ruins and silencing the uproar of foreigners. However, amidst judgment, there is praise for Yahweh's wonderful deeds. The chapter highlights Yahweh as a refuge for the poor, offering hope to all peoples. It speaks of God swallowing up death forever and wiping away tears from all faces. The passage portrays fierce judgment on the ruthless while promising a banquet of abundance for all peoples. The feast on the mountain symbolizes God's victory over evil and promises salvation, rejoicing, and the removal of disgrace. The mention of Moab being trampled down echoes historical conflicts and serves as a metaphor for God's triumph. This passage beautifully intertwines divine judgment, hope, and redemption, a timeless message that resonates across history and faith. Thank you so very much for watching and listening. And remember, every Sunday at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, I release an audio for the upcoming Sunday School lesson. Thank you so much for all that you do to help this channel grow one viewer and one subscriber at a time. Stay safe and may God bless.